my loves, and welcome back to this week's video. So as you guys can tell by the title, this week we're going to be doing a reading vlog. I haven't done this in a while where I just record like a week's worth of reading, but I'm trying to do it so that way I push myself to read more books, at least within the week. I have already started a book. I think I started last week. It's called Heir of Storm, and this is from my Fairy Loot YA box that I have received. And I honestly have only read one of the books that I have gotten from Fairy Loot, which is why I'm like trying to force myself to read my Fairy Loot books. Not force myself, but like actually motivate myself to finish all the books that I have gotten from Fairy Loot, because one thing I do want to do this year is try to read as much as I can all the books that I have on my bookshelf, which is quite a lot. I have actually gotten rid of my Fairy Loot box for now. I only have now the new one that I have, which is the Cozy subscription box, which is every 3 months, because I was like, you know what, let me get rid of the other the YA box, because if I'm getting books every month, I'm not gonna obviously be able to read all the books I have in my collection. So that is why I got rid of it for now, not forever, because I do want to get the boxes again, because I really enjoyed receiving those boxes. But for now, I at least stopped it, just so at least I can give myself time to obviously read the books that I have in my TBR. Also, I'm not saying that I'm not buying books at all, because like I said, I'm still going to be getting books but every 3 months from Fairy Loot. And my sisters and I are planning on starting a book club in April, which obviously means that we're going to be reading books within the book club that probably I might not have. So I might have to buy books here and there. But the majority, for me specifically, for my personal life, I'm not going to try to like buy books if I don't need to, if I have clearly books that I still need to read. And I'm also trying not to read books on my Kindle app, because obviously it's not like physical, and I'm trying to get rid of my physical TBR, you know. I'm not saying that I'm never going to read maybe a Kindle book, but for the meantime, I'm trying to focus, like I said, on my physical books. But yeah, so I am currently reading, as I stated, the Heir of Storms, and I'm on page 137, so chapter 15, which is a pretty good amount. It is a pretty big book. It has, let's see, trying to make sure I don't get any sneak peeks of anything. It is going to be 454 pages long, so obviously I have quite a good amount to go through. And like I said, I'm not really a fast reader. I take my time when it comes to reading. I don't like feel like I have to rush through it, and if I do feel like that, then it's not going to motivate me to want to continue to read. So I've been reading like here and there, but this week I'm trying to like take time to read, even if it's just one chapter. That's usually my goal, like try to read at least a chapter a day. If I don't get to that chapter in that day, that's okay, you know, I try to read the next day. But that's what you guys are going to be seeing me reading throughout this week. I might give you guys some updates on the book, and try not to give probably spoilers, because I try not to give spoilers, because I want you guys to obviously read it for yourself and get your own like first impression of the book. But I will read the blurb just so you guys can get an idea of what the book is about, and if it sounds interesting to you guys, then you guys might want to buy it or add it to your wish list for the future. But like I said, this is Heir of Storm by Lauren Hamilton Murray. I hope that's how you say it correctly. So it says, Blaze, a Rainsinger, is born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire. Her birth summoned a devastating storm that resulted in the deaths of thousands, and she has spent her life as an outsider, reviled and feared. When Blaze and her twin brother, Flint, are selected to compete in the Choosing Right, the trials which decide the future rulers of the Empire, she's suddenly thrust into the limelight and into battle. Threats abound at the Golden Palace, where intrigue and romance await with not one but 2 handsome suitors, the enchanting crown prince and a dangerously alluring newcomer at court. As her powers strengthen and her fellow competitors fall, The throne is suddenly within her grasp, but in order to take the crown, she'll have to leave behind the stories that others have told about her and find the courage to write her own. So, obviously, as you guys can tell, it's about like competition, kind of gives like Hunger Game vibes, and I love that style of book. So far, I haven't gotten yet until like the competition has started. They're just currently training, but so far, it is very interesting, and I do like that the words, like the letters, the font is not so small. It's like a good size, so I don't feel like I'm taking forever to get through the chapters, because sometimes if the words are very small, you feel like to get to the next chapter it takes a while, and I like to feel like rewarded and to feel like happy, like I accomplished one chapter. But if it's like really little words, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's taking me so long to just get to the next chapter. I don't know if that's just me, but that's how I am. So I'm going to stop blabbering because I could continue talking, but I will see you guys on the next clip, which is going to be me reading the book. And maybe we do go out this week because it is going to be a little bit nicer, hopefully. I probably will record myself if I go out with the book and read as well. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in a few. So I'm currently now in chapter 18. I just finished chapter 17, which is basically when the trials have now started. And it's getting very interesting. I'm very curious because right now they haven't really explained to us what the trials are going to consist of and like how are they going to fight each other, because right now they went through like separate doors for each like household. And I'm curious like how then are the trials going to like consist of, like what are they going to be doing? Are they going to fight each other within like their like powers, or like are they going to get mixed in with each other? I don't know yet, but it's very interesting right now, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. I am going to continue reading until Levi's done meeting his teacher. He's currently right now meeting with his online teacher. That way I'm going to just probably take advantage and do some more reading. Also, Wally's not going to be home until later today because he's going to get a haircut right after work. So I think I'm going to take advantage and just use that time to read a little bit more. I am right now on page 168. I'll show you guys. So this is, I've read this so far and I have this much left. So I'm trying to at least probably get like halfway. It is going to be the weekend, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more. Not the weekend, but like today's Thursday, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more reading. That way I can have more like content to show you guys. But I'm just seeing right now that they have a part 2. I guess I'm on part 1 right now, and this is how much left I need for part 2. So I think I might just try to read this week until I get at least to part 2. So I'll keep you guys updated. The boys are playing in the background, so you guys are going to be hearing them screaming and playing. But I'm also going to be doing a little bit of a like Bible study today. I'm trying to do more like in-depth Bible studying. I asked my sister actually today if she has any good recommendations for like Bible commentaries, because I do have the NIV study Bible, which has like commentaries in the bottom, but I want like a verse by verse commentary so I can actually like understand even more if there's like any other meanings behind certain like words that are used, and things that I don't probably like notice at first glance. I am actually going to be using for that my new Bible, which I did shorts about. It is the NKJV Bible, a journaling Bible, and I put these tabs from Mr. Pen on Amazon, and I got this one as well in Amazon, and it is just so beautiful. And let me show you guys. It is like a journaling Bible. I think it's an inch or an inch and a half or 2 inches of journaling space. And I love that it's also a single column. I love seeing this style better for me. That's at least what I prefer, because I feel like you get more of the word, like of each like chapter into one page. So I'm going to be doing that right now. I'm thinking honestly, so in my NIV Bible, I'm currently in Psalms. And I have like a few notes that I'm adding onto those. But I think for this specific Bible, I think I want to start in Romans, because I know like a lot of like Paul's scriptures, he like what he wrote has like a lot of like information and details that you have to like really like dig into to learn. So I think I'm going to start with Romans, and I'm going to be using right now my iPad just to go to one of the apps that I have. I can't remember the name of it right now because I don't have my iPad right here, but I think it's a BLB app, I think, and it has like a few commentaries on that. So I think I'm going to be doing that just to get through it and see what information I can learn. I am going to be using certain highlighters for certain like topics, and if I do need other highlighters, I have another highlighter here. So right now I only have 3 things, but I do have like, let me show you guys my highlighters. These are also from Mr. Pen, and so far I feel like they've worked with my NIV Bible. I'm hoping it works with this one as well. So far I think it will, but I have these colorful highlighters, and I have some pens also so I can write some notes. I wrote in this part of the Bible like what it's going to be for. So the green is going to be God's characteristics. Like the light purplish bluish color is going to be for Trinity, and then I do want to have some keywords because I know just like words that I want to know like the definition for, or if like they have a different meaning. I want to be able to highlight those and write it on the Bible. So I'm going to be doing that right now. I just need to grab my iPad from the living room, and I'm going to start doing some Bible studying. I'm not an expert when it comes to Bible study. Honestly, I feel like all my life I've read the Bible, but I feel like I never really like studied the Bible unless it was like during Sundays at church that, you know, we would do like Bible studies. So I'm trying to be more intentional with my Bible reading. But if you do want like a Bible study guide, I'm going to put probably my sister's link in the description, because she is doing a few like videos about her way of Bible studying. So that's the girl I'm going to when it comes to like asking questions, because she definitely is more like of a studier. I don't know the second word, but basically she has always loved studying. Even like since I remember we were very young, she would do like these notebooks for like school. They were like color coded and so like such beautiful like notes, and she inspired me a lot honestly to do that in school. So I'm using her as well as an inspiration to help me with my Bible studying. Obviously you guys can do it your own way, whatever feels more personal for you guys, for your relationship with God. Whatever you feel like notes you want to have in your Bible, that's up to you. First of all, my Bible is not going to be pretty looking. I've seen a lot of nice Bibles that have like art. I wish I could do that, but I'm artistic, but I'm not that artistic. So I'm just going to use my Bible for notes. I think I'm going to bring in a few my other Bibles so you guys can see the notes I have in that one, and then you guys can get an idea of how I normally do my study notes. But I do also want to get a separate like notebook just to add any additional notes that obviously are not going to fit in the Bible section. So that's what I'm going to be doing in a few. I already ordered a notebook in Amazon, but it won't get here until I think tomorrow. So we're just going to start with what we have now. If I do need to add notes that I would like to add into my notebook later on, I'll just put it like on a separate sheet of paper, and then I'll transfer it to the notebook once it gets here. But let me go ahead and bring my NIV Bible so you guys can see how I currently have been doing my notes. Alright, so this is Heir. This is my NIV application Bible. And honestly, I love the Bible, and I love like the soft leather, faux leather, but the NKJV one is a hard cover, which actually I don't mind because of how beautiful it is. But I do like soft cover because I just like when they're like very soft and I can just easily open the Bible and I have to worry about it like breaking. So I did do a few notes in Job because I started reading Job in this Bible, and then obviously now I'm in Psalms. So let me just find the page that I can use as an example. So I use these little non-stick post-it notes, and I just like glue it to like the middle of the page so it doesn't come out, and then I highlight. Let me flip you guys around so I feel like it'll be easier for you guys to see. All right, so this is the NKJV one. This is the NIV Bible. So like I said, I started in Job, like mid-Job. So I have a few like post-its. I like to do like reference verses. So if I see a verse that relates to a certain part of a scripture, then I just like to add on to it. So I add in the back what it relates to. So for Job 19:25, I also highlight it so that way I know it pertains to this verse, and then I write it in as it just came in. And same thing with a few of these. I also have some definitions to certain words that I don't know or want to have more information about, and I just write it here. I have a highlighting system here. So here I just add what it's for. God's characters, God's love, salvation, Trinity, trust in God, and then references. I do also have like some tabs and what they're going to be for. And that's basically what I've been doing with this Bible. I'm still going to continue to use it, but I feel like my other Bible, this one, I'm going to be using it more, like I said, for more in-depth Bible study, because I do want, like I said, to get more into the word and get more like knowledge of what everything means. So this is what this specific Bible is going to be for. And I feel like since obviously it has like margins that I can write in and highlight, so I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I do think that some of like the longer notes, like I said, I am going to be putting on a separate notebook, and then I will be probably put in like smaller informations or like really important things that I want to stay in the Bible. I'll put it in here. But yeah, guys, I'm just gonna keep doing that. I might show you guys later on once I fill it in a little bit more, but that's gonna be what I'll be doing in the meantime for now. So I'm actually using my iPad as well for some notes. So this is the app I use. It's the BLB. And what I like about it is because it has commentary. So let me show you guys. Right now, obviously I'm in Romans 1. When you click it on a verse, you can put text commentaries. And then it has like study guides, meanings for some of them, verse by verse study and whatnot. So you have from like different like authors, David Gusick, Chuck Smith, Matthew Henry, Jameson, and Spurgeon. So they have like different commentaries, but I usually use David's. I have liked his Bible study guide, so I've just been using his. And then you can scroll up and he'll divide it by verses. So here's like some information that I grabbed from here, and then I added to like my little journal that I did here on my iPad. And then I just highlight some information, and I'm gonna add some of these highlights also to the actual Bible as well. Like anything I want to keep here, I'll add here. So in the meantime, until I get my notebook, I'm just gonna be using my iPad to jot down some informations and some like important details that I want to keep written down. So I'm just gonna use this for now, and that's what I'm gonna start doing. So I'm gonna be going through this and getting all the in-depth details that I want to learn about, and anything important, like I said, I will be adding it to the Bible itself. Alright guys, so I'm literally just on verse 1, and this is what I have highlighted. So I added the definition here and what this relates to. So it says, Paul, a bondservant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated to the gospel of God, So I was curious what bondservant of Christ meant, and this is what I wrote. Greek word that means complete and utter devotion, not to the abjectness, which was the normal definition of the slave. And it was Morris that quoted this definition. And then for the part where it says called to be an apostle, separated to the gospel of God, what I read in the study guide is that Romans focuses more on God than any other book of the Bible in the New Testament. So literally this is the only verse I'm in, and these are all the notes that I have written here. Obviously I have more here than I have on the Bible, but that's the definition. And then it says more details on where it talks about separated to the gospel of God. It says that the idea of an apostle that you are a special ambassador of, or messenger. Paul's message is the gospel or the good news of God. So I highlighted that. And then I liked reading that the gospel of God, basically that's what Romans name is, or some people call it the gospel of God, because it literally focuses more on God, and God is the most important word in this epistle. And it says that the word God occurs 153 times in Romans, which is an average of every 46 words, which is really crazy how much Paul talks about God in this epistle. And it says, in comparison, note the frequency of other words used in Romans. The word law 72 times, Christ 65, sin 48, Lord 43, and faith 40. So it is a book about God. So that's something that I found very interesting. So of course I wrote it here. So as you guys can see, one of the reasons why I would need like a notebook is because this is literally all the information I got for this first verse, which means that I'm gonna be having a lot more information to write about for all the other verses in just Romans 1, which is why I really want to, like I said, do more Bible studying, because you get to get more information than you would think by just reading literally just one verse. You get all this information, and literally I haven't even finished going through the commentary. He's just right now continuing to talk about the gospel of God. So like I said, this is what I got from this commentary, and then now we're going to be going through verses 2 to 6. But I think I'm just going to leave my Bible study video here. I'm just going to continue to obviously read more. And then one thing I like about this, since I'm not like rushing myself to finish reading and going through all of Romans, since I'm going to still be using my NIV for like my daily Bible reading, this is just going to be for me to focus on just studying. So I'm not rushing, I'm just reading. I'm going, like I said, deep into the word and learning more about God and what his word is trying to tell us as Christians. So I think I'm actually gonna leave the video here. I got to page 208, so I left off on basically chapter 23. I am almost halfway there, but I am just gonna cut this video short because it's gonna be a little bit long, because obviously I did like a mini Bible study intermission in this reading vlog, but I think I'm gonna continue recording probably later on for like next week's video, or maybe once I finish the book I'll give you guys like another update on it. I do also want to start reading this book, which is the second part to Voice of the Ancient. So I'm gonna start reading Shield of the Mighty, and I am really excited to continue this series as well. So I think I might start reading both. I don't know how people do it, to be honest. Maybe I'll read like a chapter for each book in a day, but either way, I am going to leave you guys off here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. And if you guys have any other suggestions for other videos for me to record, let me know. I do think I want to record later on a video of all the books I own, that way you guys can see the books I own. I don't own like a lot, but I do own a lot at the same time. Like for some people this might be a lot, but to me this is not a lot, but it is a lot of unread books, that's for sure. But yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.